Hey guys, it's your girl Tubbi of the Nerdy Bird site, rocking with the antidote.com, bringing you yet another live exclusive right here from the parlor in Baton Rouge.
Hey, what's going on, guys? It's DJ Deaf, and I am excited to do this interview with Tubbi. Having some fun.
I don't think I could be more excited. Like, your resume in itself is enough for me to be all like starstruck. Like, But a really awesome DJ. Got your start a while back, but we'll kind of go through the history of how DJ Deaf came into play. I know originally you're from California.
Yeah.
And your parents decided to kind of transition down to Louisiana and actually Dry Prong.
Yeah, Dry Prong, Louisiana.
Like, that's smaller than where I'm from. I'm from Plaquemine, so from what I hear, Dry Prong doesn't have any red lights, right?
No red lights at all. We got caution lights,
nice.
But we don't have any red lights.
That's very nice. So let's kind of start there. How was that transition from such a big live city area to such a small country town?
Oh, so it wasn't really too bad.
Okay.
Because I was around 9 or 10 years old.
Gotcha.
But you know, as a young man, going into a different demographic where I was really the only black kid.
I can see that. I can see that.
So it was kind of a culture shock.
I can see that.
A very big culture shock. So yeah.
So in adjusting, like being 9 and 10 years old, and really adjusting to the culture of everything. If you had to say anything was hard, what was the hardest aspect of it? Was it like being in school? Was it making friends? Or was it just kind of figure out where you fit in?
You know, it didn't really get hard for me until 7th grade.
Gotcha.
I would say that because I was around nothing but white kids up until then. So by the time I was in the middle school,
gotcha.
Then I was around black kids again. And they were kind of like, "Who are you? Like, where'd you come from? Like, you're a weirdo." Like, but no, it's like, "Hey, I'm just like you." Like,
right. I'm just a little more artsy,
yeah,
you know?
Yeah, a little bit more. Yeah.
So I know DJing wasn't the original focus.
You all right?
What were some of your interests prior to that DJing background?
No. Okay, so I was actually really big on computers.
Nice.
IT, computer science, all of that stuff. And that was because of my brother. But you know,
shout out to Big Bro.
Yeah, shout out to Big Brother Anthony. But it was when I took my first programming class that I was like, I hate you. Like it was, and you know how it is. It's like you're asking your professor like, hey, I don't understand this, and they're like, well, why don't you understand?
You should know this.
Like, and they're asking me, answering my question with a question. And I was like, I hate you programming. I'm not doing this ever again.
This is not my life story.
I was out.
Okay, so being in Dry Prong, what kind of influenced you to actually make the move to Baton Rouge?
I would have to say, shout out Big Brother, Raymond, a really good friend of mine, Raymond. There is also another friend of mine, Jared.
Nice.
Many of my friends were living here, and you know, Ray was like, "You need to get out." And he's like, "You need to get out."
And experience.
I said, you know what? You know, I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna just leave. I'm gonna go to school and I'm gonna leave the place.
So LSU, is that kind of where the basis is of where everything?
Around the basis where really the start had came.
Nice.
It was, you know, one of my first DJ gigs, and then, you know, it was kind of, you know, where I met a lot of people.
Cool. Now let's kind of start there. I know that your first official gig actually happened at the Hound and Fox right here off of College.
Yeah, Fox and Hound off of College.
See, I said that backwards. That's
Fox
how
and
y'all know.
the Hound.
Yeah, no, I'm not here right now. I'm not here. But how did that kind of, was it planned? Was it something that you kind of jumped into?
Yes, that was actually my first gig ever.
Gotcha.
So my first paid gig.
Okay.
And I had two friends that had just bought a franchise that was called Complete Music, and Broderick and Lou, and they asked me if I wanted to be a part of the team. I said, sure, why not? At that point, it's like, you know, I can DJ, I can play the music, and, you know, MCing, that's gonna be nothing. And so it's sure enough, like my first gig, like I'm there and I get the microphone and give me the script, and I just froze. It was like,
it happens to the best of us.
Yeah. So thankfully I had someone that was there kind of teach me the way.
He cut that slack
and he just
for you.
like, all right, and he just started talking. And I was like, all right, I'm never doing this again. Like, never gonna let that happen.
So at that point, you kind of started preparing yourself to not just be the behind the scenes, but also the face of the event too.
Yeah, try to be the face of it. But you know, one thing that a lot of people never knew about me is that I hate being on the microphone. It was always like, that was my biggest thing, is you see a microphone, get me away from
right.
it. I just want to deal with the music. That's it. That was always my thing.
That's really cool though, just seeing the growth and the experience and the fact that now you are a lot more comfortable in a public sense where the mic doesn't bother you.
Right.
That's a growing experience that's very much so necessary. A lot of DJs are antisocial in a certain sense or very standoffish, and I find that it makes them harder to approach when you're an artist or even when you're a business person looking for a DJ. So I'm happy that you kind of were able to spread your wings and fly on there.
On the microphone nowadays. Now, I mean, there's people that will contest to that. I've had my times on the microphone where it hasn't been so pleasant.
Right. It just wasn't pretty.
It's all about growth.
Exactly. Now, the history behind your name. I know that there are a couple of different people and things that kind of play into the development of the name DJ Deaf. So let's kind of talk about that. From what I understand, one of your earlier girlfriends was the initial stamp on that.
Yes.
Let's get into that story. What happened? What happened?
She was introduced to me.
Okay.
And we hit it off, and she was deaf.
Nice.
She was actually a dancer.
Right.
And I'm not gonna mention any names.
It's okay.
But however,
she knows who she is.
She knows who she is, and a lot of people know who she was. But she danced at LSU. And, the connection was, how are you so great at what you're doing, when you can't hear as well, when you're impaired, and it was. I don't hear it, I feel it. It's count. It's all moving, and it's staying focused, and that just resonated with me. And after a while, we parted our ways, and she went hers, I went mine, and I always held on to the name Deaf, but I never wanted anyone to think that okay, well, I'm holding on to this name because I'm so heartbroken or anything like that. So over time, that's whenever I came up with the "Don't Ever Accept Failure."
So
that's "Don't Ever
acronym.
Accept Failure" came when I was at a really low point.
Gotcha.
So.
And I think that's really cool to be inspired by someone and to simply be able to look at it and go, it's not what you do because you see it or you hear it. It's what you do because it's who you are and you feel it and you live it. And I think that's important to choose career paths that you actually are one with. It's not something that you have to force yourself to do. So shout out to her for actually dropping that little bit of inspiration, or we wouldn't have DJ Deaf. Now, coming into that low point in life and being able to create that acronym, I don't think you understand how powerful it is for people that actually tune in to who you are to be able to resonate your story and to appreciate it and to be able to grow and develop within their own career paths. I think that's so awesome. So I'm happy that the name stuck, and I'm happy that you're able to give it a double entendre where it has two meanings and they're both significant in their own right.
Right.
Now, DJ Deaf, that name comes about, you start doing gigs, and if I'm not mistaken, it was an event that occurred before your first official gig where you kind of ended up just being the DJ.
Yeah.
Let's talk about how you kind of jumped into this role.
College times. We all have those times. It was pool party. I think it was Brightside. That's what it was. Brightside.
You from out here, you know exactly where.
You know where Brightside was, and we had a lot of parties over there. And, it was two really good friends of mine, Kristen and Kayla. They're twins. They had a birthday.
Okay.
And one of the guys, he just got drunk,
wasted.
And, he's like, all right, I'm out. And so we got all this equipment. What are we gonna do?
Oh, so he just left everything. He was so toe up. He just left.
So the party kept going on, and I just decided to let me try playing my music because I have a good idea of what people like and what my friends like.
Very nice.
And then it just grew and grew, and then that was by the time that Broderick and Lou had showed up, and they saw he just left all this equipment. I was like, yeah, he's like, and you're doing this? And I'm like, yeah, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm
winging
trying to figure it out. So, and then I got the call, and hey, you want to kind of be a part of it? Cool.
That is so awesome. It kind of plays into that signature story of the right time at the right and not having to plan anything, just naturally letting it flow. I think that is so awesome. So as you start coming into DJing and you realize hey, I can do this and people are expecting me to do this, who inspired you? If you had to pick any DJs or any artists, who inspired you to really continue and push for more as a DJ outside of just events and venues?
I could go on a list of you know, a lot of notable people.
Right.
But I would, you know, I'll say this, and on record, I used to ride around Baton Rouge, and I would listen to, you know, people like DJ Marquise or DJ Bootsy or Cool DJ Super Mike.
Gotcha.
Like all of those guys, because I would hear them on the radio, and I was like, man, like, you guys, like, I just love it. So like before anybody else, like, you know, those it's guys like that, Incredible too, DJ Incredible, like all of those guys, because I would hear them. DJ New Orleans, you know,
major shout out, like, there a lot of DJs, so
many great DJs right here in Baton Rouge, and that's what I listened to, that's what I heard.
Nice.
And so I took from there, because I knew that different side of music for me because of just how I came up, and so, but I love, you know, the urban side too,
both sides.
So I just kind of blended the two into my own thing. But you know, like, those are really big inspirations to me.
Very
but then
nice.
I could also go on to, there's DJ AM, A-Track, Jazzy Jeff.
Look, authentic, like the
real, you know,
the history
Fat Fingers.
right.
Like, there's so many great DJs out there that I just watch.
That is so awesome to be able to tie in just that, the historical references, though, DJs that really opened the doors and kind of paved the way for what hip hop is and for what DJing is.
Right.
And then taking a lot of those local DJs and the things that they were able to accomplish. When you look at Baton Rouge as a music industry, we're kind of on a smaller scale, and it does have a lot to do with a lot of other areas kind of coming in and taking our influences and not giving us credit for them. So I think it's cool when you can kind of blend the two and create your own authentic sound and your own authentic scrap and rap, and I think that's really, really dope for a DJ to be able to keep up in this generation, because you have so many different varieties of music, and to harp on the same thing, it's like, he only plays this or he only plays that. So versatility is important.
Yeah, it's you know, it's funny because it's kind of like computers, like it's never ending, it always changes.
Right.
And here I am, like, doing something totally different, but it's like, I like you, but I hate you.
Right. Yeah. But I have to be comfortable enough to play you both.
Though, so we'll figure it out together.
Very nice. All right, so coming out of college, you've kind of experimented, and were able to kind of get your footing, your groundwork for who you are as a DJ.
Yeah.
You established a really cool name that has been able to stick with you throughout the years. But now we're coming into the business aspect of things. Like, you're not just doing this for fun anymore or for like petty cash because you know it's what you love, but you're taking real opportunities here and are like elevating yourself.
Yeah.
So what came first? Was it the opportunity with Max 94.1 here in Baton Rouge, or?
The first opportunity came from Tigerland, actually. Tigerland and a mixture of like the fraternities at LSU.
Gotcha.
That's where I really started to, you know, break through
and get everybody's like, I want DJ Deaf, I want DJ Deaf.
And it was a fraternity that I did a show for, and they brought out Yin Yang Twins.
Oh, very nice.
So that was like my first like
live
big artist,
hype,
like, I'm like, wow. And from then on, I was like, okay, I think that I may actually be good at and do this. And so from there, that's whenever I started getting booked all the time.
Very
and then it just led on to more and more and more. So, and it bled over into, you know, Tigerland with the help of, you know, Ray. Like, if it wasn't for him doing a lot and pushing me, then a lot of this that happens today wouldn't be. And it's not just Ray, it's a lot of things that's, you know, just happens over life.
And I think that's cool. Everybody needs that support system. You need that person that's going to be brutally honest with you, but also
that he is,
but that also understands your passion. And it's good. Like, I cannot stand like yes men and people that just like, oh yeah, you got this. You know, I respect people that are like, okay, that sucks.
Ray is one of those guys that's like, I can call him, and he's just like, we've already talked about this. Why are you, I ain't got time for it. Goodbye.
Just get it together.
Yeah. I'm like, all right, whatever. I'm good now.
Nice. Well, major shout out to you, because we wouldn't have this man sitting next to us if it wasn't for you being brutally honest.
Love the hating.
Right. So leaving out of that Tigerland experience, I know that you also were able to play downtown, like coming into like those office bar days where everybody's like, yeah, let's turn up. Where's DJ Deaf? Because that became like the adult scene leaving out of college.
That was a really fun time in life. So leading into the downtown days,
Right.
it was kind of like a waterfall effect. Again, Ray, he took a trip to Europe. He came back from Europe, and he quit his job and he moved here, and he knew someone that was opening City Bar.
Nice.
And then he introduced me to him, and so I went up there, and that's how I got my foot in the door. I did the opening nights for City Bar, and after that first weekend, I thought it was just going to be like every once in a while thing, and I said, hey, so to Blake, shout out to Blake. I asked him, I was like, so when do you want to book me again? And he's like, all right, yeah, we'll see you next week. And I was like, that's it? And he's like, you want something else? I'm like, okay. So something that I thought was going to be a every so often thing, it turned into that now I'm DJing every week, and then it started leading into just about every single day. That
is awesome, and again, it shows that just getting out and pursuing stuff, a lot of people submit resumes and do stuff online, which is a wonderful thing, but it's so much better to get out there in person and just get your foot in the door.
Yeah.
And
I agree with you. You just got to take risk and believe in yourself.
That is important.
You really gotta believe in yourself.
That's important. I think a lot of people start pursuing things and then let a certain amount of criticism or the lack thereof receiving opportunities on the forefront, it kind of deters them from being able to pursue what they love to do, because they look at it like, oh, well, this didn't work and I can't do this. And I think you're a prime example of just go for it. Going for it makes all the difference in life, right?
Yeah, you have to. You got shoot your shot. Just shoot your shot.
It's either gonna go in, bounce out the room, might get a rebound. You don't know how it's gonna play out. Just shoot your shot.
You never
man.
know. You just gotta shoot your shot, man. And just but I think it all comes back to having a good team or support system behind you. And for me, I have a great support system. Friends, family, my mom and dad, and but before any of that, all praise to God, because
of course,
without Him, nothing would ever be possible. So
big shout out, you guys, to the family, to the home team, to the man upstairs, because it is a well-rounded spiritual trip as well. As much as it is business, if you're not happy and comfortable in what you're doing, it becomes a drag, and it prevents you from being successful because it becomes a job.
Yeah, the touch on that, and the City Bar in the downtown days.
Right.
So I did that for 4.5 years.
Very nice.
But that led into me going out to Lafayette, and then it started leading me into New Orleans, and then every once in a while I would kind of go out of state or whatever. But I know there's a lot of people indifferent about how they feel on certain clubs in Baton Rouge, and I'm the same way
for racial reasons.
Right. I understand.
Right.
But for me, I can't sit here and talk down on the City Bar on my personal experience. But we've had our misunderstandings, and we've had our differences, so don't get it twisted.
He said, I understand. Look,
I understand.
He said he been back there behind the DJ table like, hold up.
Yeah. We've had our differences, and we've gone down our paths of arguments, and why sometimes they didn't want me to have a microphone, but because I was a little bit too open on a mic.
And I don't think that's a bad thing. I think a part of DJing is bringing your personality into your set.
Yeah.
A lot of people look at DJs like they're only supposed to cater to what's popular, to what people want to hear. And it's a platform that allows you to address political views. It's a platform that allows you to address racial views. And I like the fact that you are too opinionated, okay?
Yeah.
It means that you're true to who you are and what you believe in, regardless of what you're being paid to do.
Yeah, and I agree with you. It's good to be opinionated, but one thing that I did have to learn and figure out is how and when
to present
certain things, because you never know who's going to be in that room.
You're absolutely
and
right.
And that could be your high point or your downfall.
That could be your deal breaker right there.
Yeah.
Like the coach is scouting you, full scholarship for you.
Exactly.
And then he see you high-headed, and it's like, oh.
Right, and it could be gone in a minute. And towards the end of my tenure at City Bar.
Okay.
That was whenever I was, you know, it started to feel like a job.
Gotcha.
It started to feel like something like I couldn't stand walking in there or even being around certain people, because I was involved with someone and it was leading me down a different path to where I was like, you know, I don't really know if I like DJing anymore, or I don't know if I really want to be here in DJ anymore.
Gotcha. So I'm happy that it was just like here. Like, I don't want to be here, you know, because opportunities after that became kind of endless for you, being tied in with Max 94.1.
Yeah, so during City Bar days, that's how I was discovered from Max. And you know, I tell this story all the time. Is J. Michael, he sent me a message on Facebook, and it was just so vague, and because it was on my fan page.
Gotcha.
And it was hey, give me a call, and there was a number, and I'm like, who is this guy?
And why does he want me to call
like,
him?
What does this guy want? Like, I don't know him.
Is he stalking?
What does he want? And I almost didn't call him.
Gotcha.
Because I was talking with someone. I'm like, man, I don't, like, who is this dude? Like, just say, hey, give me a call.
Right.
But, you know, I was also on that point where, like, all right, I'm starting to get on and popping. Like, I'm feeling myself a little bit.
Like, maybe I should
call you. Like, who are you? So I called him, and he's like, hey, you know, this is program director. You mind coming down to the station? I'm like, all right, yeah, you know, I'll give it a shot. So I'm dressing up. I'm like, I don't know what to expect.
Right.
And I get there, and he's like, all right, yeah, I want you to talk on the mic. And I'm like,
me and Mike don't get along.
I don't like this thing right here. So, and I gave it a shot, and he's like, okay, now try this. And I did that, and that was it. He's like, okay. And I'm like, thinking to myself, I'm like, okay.
What was this?
Like, that was it. And he's like, and that's how he is. He's always been like that. Like, he'll just kind of lead it and then kill it. And I'm like, dude,
what was this?
Where are we going with this?
What was it?
And that's how I felt. And he's like, okay, we'll be in touch. And he's like, send me some mixes. I'm like, okay. So I'm thinking, like, I'm so open format with a lot of things.
Right.
And I was like, man, do I need to just do like hip hop or what? Like, I don't know what's going on.
What's gonna appeal to him?
And he's like, no, just
send me your
just
stuff.
do you. And I was like, okay. So I sent him me. Like, I left it all out there. And, and then that's how, you know, it came along. That's how it came.
So he calls you back and he's like, love it, want it, come down to the station, this is your slot, this is what you're doing. So how was that first experience, like walking into the Max 94.1 studio with all of these people, like you mentioned, Cool DJ Super Mike, like all the people you grew up listening to? You walk into the studio and you're like seeing these people, and it's like, are you like in starstruck then, or what's going on?
Not necessarily. I wasn't really starstruck because my first encounter with Super Mike, and he probably don't even. I actually told him about this story too. The first time I met him, it was at some type of event and music industry event, and he was talking. He was like, you know, you guys called me, you know, so I got his number, and I'm like, man, like I got Super Mike's number, like. So I call him, and he's like, you can call me in the morning. My phone line's always open. I think I called him at like 7:30 one day in the morning, and he answered the phone, and he was like, man, we call him at 7, I'm asleep. And my feelings were like crushed. Like, man, I'm done with this. But no, it's funny now. Like, he doesn't really, he's like, no. He's like,
I didn't do you that, man.
I'm like, yeah, you did. You actually really did, though. But and when I walked into the building with them, it's like, you only see them, and you see them around here and there, but now, I mean, it's like a family.
Right.
That's really how it is. And it's good people out there.
Nice. So being in that family-oriented setting, and it's always important to feel like it's family, so you're not always looking over your shoulder and not feeling like you're in competition so much. Learning from the other DJs, because a lot of them have been in the industry a little bit longer than you, so far as the radio setting goes.
Yeah, very wise.
Knowing that you're picking up a few things from these DJs and kind of learning what it is they're doing and still developing your own style. What is one of the biggest things that you were able to take, like leading into today, from that initial experience at Max 94.1?
I think the biggest thing is that I've taken, and I still continue to take, is be yourself. Always be yourself, and how to talk to people differently, how to understand differently, how to ask questions.
Yes.
there's so many things. It's an endless list.
My resume is building.
I think that, for me, it was, building better as a person,
right,
and being more personal with others. So.
Very nice. Okay, now knowing that DJing at this point is like, I'm doing this, I'm like have my radio slot, I'm experiencing, I'm exposed, I'm continuously growing. You decide one day, like you're scrolling on the internet, or maybe you got an email, and you're like, you know what? I'm about to send my resume over to the Harlem Globetrotters. They're looking for a DJ. Or did somebody more so like, hey, they're looking for a DJ? How did that whole transition come into play?
So that was the interesting time.
So, he said from the most fun in my life.
From the most fun to
the interesting point.
The very interesting part. When I got that call, I was down, I was depressed, mm-hmm. I didn't know what I wanted to do or what I wanted to continue to do, because prior to that, I think a few months before, I left Baton Rouge. I left, and because I was more on the end of like, you know what, I'm done, I'm out, and I just pretty much left everything on the table, and because in my mind I was following someone.
Gotcha.
And I put all my eggs in one basket, and I moved to Dallas.
Gotcha.
And I was there for about 7 months, and then during that time we had our differences, me and someone, and we parted ways.
Okay.
She went her way, I went mine, and I felt like I was left picking up pieces, because I was like, you know what, I just gave up everything. And typical man, what he's gonna think.
It's soul searching that's required.
And he's soul searching, but it brought me down in order to build me back up. And
exactly.
I kept telling myself, it's like, I feel like something good is gonna happen in 2018. Lord knows I didn't know it was gonna happen like this.
Speaking into existence.
But yeah, and so whenever I got that call, we were 4 days before our lease was ending.
Okay.
She was moving to New York, and I was like, what am I
doing?
Like, what am I? And I remember all I kept saying was like, I want peace. I want, to just be a better person. So
right.
Around before all this time, like, I kept writing. I started to write. I started to pray more. I started to focus more on me, but I still have my problems.
Right.
And 4 days before that, my sister had passed about a year ago.
Sorry,
I went out to LA, and I made my peace with that. I made my peace with some family, and then things started to slowly build up. I did a New Year's Eve party in New York, and that was huge for me. I turned around and I went to Chicago. That was huge for me. Shout out Ray again. And then
you sure Ray's not your manager?
Probably could be, but then I saw a post online, and it was a mutual friend, another DJ, and they were like, anyone looking to travel and and DJ, send me a press kit. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. Like, I sent it to him, and I messaged him like, hey, send it to you. He's like, all right, I got it. I just sent it off. And I'm sitting on the couch with my dog, Bogey. Shout out Bogey. And I was just chilling out. So I went to my office. I came back that Monday evening. And I got a call, and it was like, hey, this is such and such from the Harlem Globetrotters. And mind you, I almost didn't even answer the phone, because
that's usually how it happens. I don't know that number.
Yeah, and I was like, because I was very, very depressed.
Right.
And so I answered, and I'm hearing it, and he explained the details to me, and he's like, so you in? And I said yes. I was impulse because I was like yes, and he's like, all right, well, we're gonna get you situated Wednesday. And I'm like thinking in my head like, all right, cool, Wednesday, next week I'm gonna be done with this lease, and then we're good. All right, I'm perfect. And he's like yeah, no, like 48 hours,
like tomorrow,
and I'm like, yeah. And I was like, and he's like, well, can you still do it? I'm like, yeah, I'll figure it out. So I got off the phone, I called my family, and I'm like, do you guys know who the Harlem Globetrotters are? And they're like, well, duh, like, yeah, we know them. And I'm like, well, I just got a call from them, and I'm going on tour. And they were like, when?
What?
And I'm like, well, I'm leaving Wednesday, so I need help. And
getting all my stuff out of this house.
Yeah, I need help, and you know, I don't know, I can't ask her for help because she's got things that she's got to worry about.
Right.
So that's how it happened. I got a call, and I remember just, you know, my family coming in. They packed everything up. They put it all in storage, which
nice.
it still is in storage somewhere in Dallas in a building that I don't know.
I don't
even know where it's at. I'm just
pay it, make sure they don't take my stuff.
Making sure they don't take it. But I just left, man. Like I left, and I got out of there. And the last thing that I remember hearing is my family saying, it said, "This is what you asked for."
Right. So
and I just walked out, and I didn't look back.
Very nice.
I caught the flight that Wednesday morning because I went and bought 2 suitcases, and my family came in to help pack everything up, and I just left.
Very nice.
I was on the road for about 4.5, 5 months. So
now, how cool was that? Let's briefly touch that touring experience. You know, being a DJ, you're already exposed to hundreds of people, given whatever certain night it is. But how was that DJing experience for the Harlem Globetrotters different from just being here in the city?
It's incredible. It's beautiful because you meet so many different people, and it's all about the people. It's not about me. It's not about the team. It's not about any of us. It's about the people. That's what I truly believe in. And it's opened my eyes to see so many different cultures and walks of life, and to, you know, expand my mind and expand my music.
Right.
And just to see what else is out there. Because, you know, not many people can, you know, say that they're fortunate enough to do things like that.
I know,
it's a
really
blessing. It's
deal.
Incredible. So, and I'm just glad to be a part of it.
I think it's a really, really big deal. I think everybody grew up understanding the Harlem Globetrotters to be some of the best ball players in the world because of what they were able to do.
Yeah.
So it does bring in, like you said, it ties in different cultures because people, it's almost like the circus without making them so much of a gimmick.
Right.
But, you know, so many people are astonished by it, and they just want to see, and they want to be a part of it, and they want to experience it. So being that DJ that provides the sound for that energy, like that has to just be cool. Like every night it has to be like a whole different level of high.
Yeah, it's my first show that I'll never forget is DC, because that was the one where they put me in front of a whole bunch of people.
Right.
I'm out there on the court, I'm playing the music, I'm emceeing, I'm, you know, doing all of that. And then I didn't realize that every big person from the company was there. Now, they had already been on the road, so I had to learn everything on the fly.
Right.
I had to just like jump in and just get in where I fit in.
And make it work.
Yeah, and just try and make it work. So it opened my eyes to, you know, just to see, you know, other things and how other aspects of you know, entertainment is ran.
That's like a beautiful thing, because you can take that experience and be a mentor to other DJs, or even just sit down telling your story. It gives such inspiration and know-how just on the whims of, like you said, it's not this whole science of you have to do this and you have to do this and you have to do this, more so than just believe in yourself and go for it. Like, don't put yourself in any limitations, just go for it.
You just gotta go for it. Shoot your shot, man. Shoot your shot.
Shoot it a couple of times.
shoot a lot of times, man. But and that's always been it's opened my eyes to know what my real purpose is.
Right.
It's not about music. It's not about you know, sales or anything like that. It's really truly about helping others.
That's
beautiful,
man.
What my purpose is I want to help others. You know, if there's a way that I can help a DJ out, then I'm cool with that.
Right.
And now whether, you know, they cut me down or whatever, I don't care. I don't have time to focus on any of that. Like, either you like me or you don't.
And there is no in between, because like I said, being able to take that criticism, but you know, hey, shout out to Ray, because I think he's been that person that kind of straight up was just like, nope, not gonna happen.
You know, I mentioned Ray quite a bit, and you know, because he really did play a huge role in a lot, and it's not just him. It's you know, it's a ton of people.
Right.
But you know, me and him, you know, we're like
just
this.
Like brother.
Yeah, we're like this all the time.
Right.
So it really has, you know, opened my eyes to a ton.
Look, I'm just getting goosebumps just listening to him because the energy is so pure, and you know what he's saying is just authentic and it's real. And again, like a lot of DJs do it for the money, or they do it for the little fame that they get.
The money and the fame and all of that, you know, I'm glad that I don't care about any of that anymore. Now, it's cool. I want to get paid. I want to get paid. But you know, it's not about that. Right. I mean, it's not about the money, because, you know, and I'm glad I got a lot of that out of my system whenever I was during those city bar days, because those city bar days were, if you ever went there, you probably saw me in very rare form every single weekend. So in very rare form, but it allowed me to, you know, get it out. And now whenever I'm doing things, whether it's with Globetrotters or DJing, like, I'm so just like
humbled by the experience,
by everything, like, because I walked away from something that I was just like, you know what, I'm energy, good man. Now. But then it came back to me in a whole different aspect, and it was like, I can't walk away from you.
Guys, like, I'm not letting you leave what I called you to do now. Maybe you weren't supposed to do it in the manner that you were doing it.
It's like, I told you not to do this, but yeah, all right, I'm gonna listen now.
I got you. Look, I'm paying attention this time. I'm focused. I'm in the lens. I think that is so dope. If you had to give advice outside of just be true to yourself, be natural, those DJs that are looking to pursue things on a higher level, where they are looking not for it to be a hobby but more of a career, what are some of the steps they can take to really make sure they're able to pursue their dreams? Should they be looking at certain companies? Should they look at certain...
Don't ever accept failure. That's my motto. That's my mantra. And, you know, if you don't want to use that, then, you know, use something else. But, you know, like I said, Deaf and that don't ever accept failure is bigger than me.
Right.
It's not just for me. It's for you and everyone else, because we all go through problems. We all go through failures, and it's up to us to never accept that and continue to move on, because we're all gonna fail. It doesn't matter. But as far as for DJs, I just tell you, you know, it doesn't matter what you DJ on. It doesn't matter, you know, what kind of style you are. You know, be who you want to be.
Exactly.
And just and build off of that. But, you know, figure it out, and, you know, put your own style to it. You know, we all learn from others, and that's just not even with DJs. That's in life. You learn from others in order to grow more.
Right.
And so on a DJ and a music side, you know, learn, ask questions, don't be afraid, and just be humbled by it, because you will go through that point where you feel like you own and you pop in and
real big.
Your head's up there, and it's like, all right, I'm just feeling myself right now. But it will happen, because it happened to me. And, you know, I don't care.
You have to push it back.
Now it's like, you know, when I look at this stuff, I'm like, seriously? Like, are you kidding me?
Right.
Like, I'm
here and I'm doing this,
yeah.
And it's because I love it, and it's not a job. And like I think it's really cool, like you said, just being able to experience and touch so many people and be that person, because I'm a firm believer that music heals the soul in any aspect. So, you know, you might play a certain mix that really touches that person that is having a bad day or that has gone through something, and they're here because a family member is trying to get them to cheer up.
And that's what touches me more now. And I tell people now, like, I always wear a hat when I DJ most of the time, because I am extremely nervous whenever I'm DJing. So if it's down, I'm looking at you, but you probably not gonna look in my eye. You can't see me. But when I DJ now, sometimes, and it used to happen before in the past, if you catch me smiling or like kind of laughing, it's because like that's whenever I'm like, all right, I'm finding a groove now, and I'm just laughing with it now. Like I got this, and then it's so pure and humbling. It's such a different approach for me now that I get so moved by what I'm doing that if I even just like shed a tear, it's like, this is awesome. Like, I don't care what you think about me or anything, man. And everyone, you already know, like, I wear my heart on the sleeve and I don't even care. Like, this is who I am, but I'm good at what I do. It's but you know, it's just having fun with it, and it doesn't matter where you're DJing at. It doesn't matter. It just, as long as you keep moving forward and trying, because I mean, take it for for instance, I mean, look at me, and you know, look at other people too. I'm still on the playing field with you, with all of you. Like, I'm no better than the next person that's right there on the battlefield. I'm not.
I think that's awesome, and again, it's just your energy, your attitude, and the positivity that comes behind it, knowing that you do have a history where struggle and trials and tribulations are present, but you're able to take all of those things and build character from it, and are able to push forward and be successful in the things that you love. It's just awesome. I can speak on it for hours, you know what I'm saying? But before we get to kind of wrapping up, is there anybody you want to shout out so far as outside of Ray? Because we know Ray is the man.
Everybody already, you know who right now. You'll probably go look him up now. You know, it's just there's so many people that I could shout out, and so for anyone that sees this, shout out to you. Shout out to you,
you baby, you.
Because you are the reason why I keep going.
Right.
And there's so many people, you know, even the people that I, you know, thought had turned their backs on me.
Right.
Even, you know, those, even, you know, past relationships, everything. That is, shout out to all of it. The good, the bad, the ugly, because you are really who makes Deaf.
Who makes it.
And that's what keeps me going.
That's awesome. 2018.
2018.
How can they link in? Like, if they're like, nope, I gotta have DJ Deaf at my party. How do they link in with you? How do they go about contacting you for events?
You can call, text, in social media. That's at DJ_Deaf and DEAF. That's where you can find everything. And if I don't answer, or if I don't respond immediately, I will always respond. And you know, it's like my guy Mike Rich told me. He's like, man, he told me this the other day. He's like, man, like, you know, like you may not call and you may forget, but you always call back.
You always come through.
Yeah, like, so, and that's, you know, advice is, always pick up your phone. Always call.
Right.
Like, don't act like, you know,
you too good for it.
Yeah, like you too good for it, because it could be an opportunity. Right there to your hand. Now,
any email addresses? Do you prefer just being contacted via DM?
No, email is thedjdef@gmail.com, and that's spelled THEDJDEAF@gmail.com.
Very nice, you guys. I appreciate you for coming through.
Thank you for having me.
I know that you have a really busy schedule. This man has been all over the world, and here I am sitting on the black sofa getting an exclusive interview with him. I am humbled. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
You guys, make sure you click in, link, subscribe, leave your comments, follow DJ Deaf. Let us know exactly how you feel, what you think. If you're a DJ and you're looking for assistance or inspirational words, again, make sure you follow him on social media. It's your girl Tubbi of the Nerdy Bird site, bringing you yet another live exclusive from the parlor, and we're signing out.